Hello YouTube, this Star Wars Paladin here, and it's kind of a different sort of a video. I like to do different kinds of videos. And this one, I don't know how much you watch my channel, but I really love Clone Wars. And obviously when Disney bought it from Lucas, one of the very first things they did was just kill off everything Clone Wars related so they could replace it with the Star Wars 7 and Star Wars Rebels, which is terrible. It's a terrible show, honestly. Saw the pilot or the whatever, the quote unquote movie. It's pure Disney trash. But as kind of a love letter, back on the September 25th, they released. They had this announcement on the Star Wars YouTube channel, and calling it Star Wars Clone Wars Legacy. And basically, what it is they kind of tried to figure out how they could keep the Clone Wars going without being able to make the show and without the video game, the great MMO that they had. Since the show was canceled, the MMO was canceled. And how do they keep the show, or how do they keep the show and the concept and the lore and the story alive? And I can't say enough derogatory stuff about Clone Wars. Or in how they treated Clone Wars, rather when Rebels came online, because Rebels is terrible. But I think they heard enough from the fans, and they figured it out, and so they're telling 3 more Clone Wars stories. Besides, they released half of season 6, and so these stories that they're releasing sort of round out the remaining content they had for planned for season 6. So I want to talk to you guys about what those 3 are, and I'll do them in kind of a weird order, but this is the order that I kind of see them as. So the first one is Star Wars Darth Maul, son of Dathomir. This intertwines through Darth Maul's story, which takes place during the Clone Wars, and it picks up with his mission that he goes on. It says, getting cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi and getting rejected by his former Sith Master Darth Sidious isn't going to defeat Darth Maul. In fact, it only makes him mad enough to take on the galaxy with an army of Mandalorians. After forming the Shadow Collective, a criminal organization composed of the galaxy's wretched hive of scum and villainy, Maul wages war against Sidious and his generals, Count Dooku and Grievous. So I unfortunately haven't been able to have really a lot of conversations with my friends about this, because I think only one of my friends has actually finished season 6. So those of you who haven't sat through season 6 yet, not season 5, not season 4, but after sitting through all of them, so spoiler, Darth Maul obviously is not dead, but he gets trapped. He's completely insane and pieces himself a body back together, a lower half, a giant bug, comes back because his brother saves him, which is a whole nother giant story. And they swear revenge on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi gets saved by an unlikely ally, or an unlikely person. And Maul swears vengeance on Sidious. Him and his brother go after Sidious, and Sidious beats him within an inch of his life and kills his brother. And this, unfortunately, Clone Wars just stops. And so this takes place after that. This is like the next this would have been like the next quote unquote like 4 episodes of what happened after that, which is Maul making a second army, because he made a first army, and then that army gets wiped out, and then he goes and makes a second army, which is the Mandalorians. And then that's unfortunately where it ends. So he never gets to fight Dooku and Grievous because Sidious realizes that Maul would have just messed up his plans. So this is a 4-part series that already came out, but this is all 4 comics in one book, and it's going to come out October 17th, which is just in a little bit. And the books are very highly rated. Dark Horse. I don't know if this is the last of the Star Wars Dark Horse comics, but definitely worth picking up when it comes out if you loved Clone Wars. This finishes up the Darth Maul story for Clone Wars. At least, as far as I know. I haven't read it, so I don't know what happens. I don't want to know. I want to read it myself. But, I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions, because it seems like in Clone Wars it goes right up to Order 66, but there's like no official anything of what actually happens for Order 66, which is really weird. It's like one of the things that George Lucas never wrote. I mean, there's a book, but I don't think this leads into Order 66. It'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Like, does Maul survive Order 66? I don't know, because Force Unleashed isn't canon anymore. And in Force Unleashed, he was dead. I guess. I assume he was dead. Anyway, who knows? Moving on. This is the Clone Wars Legacy website. Basically, this is where they combined the 4 episodes called Crisis on Utapau. Utapau. These are demo reels, but it is still highly entertaining. This is the 4-part that they were in process of, when they literally just shut the studio down right in the middle of working on these, and they're in demo reels. Very, very good. The voice acting is completely done. The special effects are about halfway done. The animation is pretty wonky, but you can. I've watched CG story demo reels before, so it doesn't bother me in the least. This is one of the best stories they have ever written. It is funny. You get to see Skywalker in like full badass mode. And unfortunately, they kind of skip over the whole pet controlling thing. I really wish they would have tackled that. I haven't watched the last episode yet. I'm kind of saving it. I think I'll watch it tonight. Highly, highly recommend watching Crystal Crisis on Utapau. Very good story. I don't want to spoil it. I don't know how long it's going to be up for, but I also saw that these were already on YouTube. I can't speak for the YouTube versions, but if they're good quality, I'd recommend watching those instead, because the video player on this site is very bad. Not only does it F up like 2 to 3 times per video, but I noticed that sometimes this website's almost completely unavailable. I don't know what the deal is, so it's effed up. Highly recommend. If you loved Clone Wars, you gotta watch these. There's you'll laugh, you'll cry. Very good videos. Very good story. Very good writing. Very good voice acting. There's also a very famous voice actor here. You'll just love these episodes. So I said there was 3. The third one is called Star Wars Dark Disciple. If you try to look this up on Amazon, as of now, again, this is early October 2014, in case you're watching this 20 years in the future or whatever, or you don't know what Amazon is because it doesn't exist anymore. I don't believe it. Amazon will always exist. Anyway, this book's not on Amazon yet, even as a pre-order or anything, but keep your eye on it. This is going to be the third of the 3 kind of Clone Wars stories they're releasing. It looks to be really good. So it's going to star everybody's favorite bad girl, Ventress, and Jedi bad boy, Quinlan Voss. So he's like the surfer bad boy Jedi that doesn't really get along with anybody. He teams up with Obi-Wan, but the bad girl of the Sith and the bad boy of the Jedi are gonna hook up and go on some adventures. Sounds like a pretty badass story. So again, don't forget, that's called Star Wars Dark Disciple, supposed to be coming out summer 2015. So like they say at the beginning and end, 6 groundbreaking seasons. The series obviously has come to an end, but more stories remain untold. Apparently, these were the 3 I think that were the most fleshed out. The 3 that I just covered. Apparently, he says at the end that Lucas actually wrote many more. I remember before Clone Wars even came out, he had already written something like 100 episodes, and they got to 130 or something before those Disney douchebags pulled the plug. I can't remember exactly how many. 120, 130. I think it's because he just kept coming up with more. I mean, there was some filler, but not that much. Maybe it's 20% filler, and he just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. And I think he was going to be dodging, almost pushing back Order 66 for as long as he could. I mean, there was a lot of allusion and a lot of implication, but if you think about it, there's so many stories happening in parallel. He probably could have pushed out Order 66 another 2 seasons if he wanted. And if he wanted to, he could have completely skipped Order 66 and kept telling Ahsoka's story, Ventress' story, Obi-Wan's story. Now, I guess in Rebels, we're going to find out Obi-Wan's story, but maybe a couple others that survived. I always forget the gal's name. The blue Twi'lek gal. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. But find out what officially happened to her, and then they can figure out, the whole Force Unleashed thing or whatever. Since that didn't happen, what really did happen, to all those other Jedi, because it's so dumb, and this is the biggest thing that drives me absolutely insane about Star Wars. You watch 4, 5, and 6, I've talked to Zato about this like a million times. They're like, oh, Jedi, those are just... Jedi aren't real. Jedi this, Jedi that, blah, blah, blah. It's all just hokey dokey stories. And you just want to grab them and scream and be like, Clone Wars was only 30 years ago. You mean to tell me that none of you have seen a Jedi? I mean, there were hundreds of Jedi running around. Okay? It just isn't... You guys have, like, holo recordings of them, and don't you guys have, like, recorders and pictures? I mean, there must be... It's just, I don't know. And, maybe Sidious had a way of wiping everybody's mind? Which, that would have been a pretty cool thing where Order 66 happens and Sidious wipes the whole entire universe's mind of the existence of Jedi or something. But, it never happens, and so you're just left to kind of think for yourself. But, kind of make up your own stories. But I wish that the Clone Wars, when did the Clone Wars really end? When Dooku gets killed? I mean, is that technically when the Clone Wars end? Because it's almost like Dooku gets killed and the next part of the plan, like, immediately starts, and, episode 3, like, that's one of I hated episode 3 so bad, it felt so rushed. And, episode 3 was more it's just a huge rush. And I've only watched it once. I never want to watch it again because of that, but the Clone Wars could have fixed a lot of that and almost retcon the movie, which is what I would have done. I would have completely changed episode 3. Have I been saying episode 6 on accident? I don't know anymore. But the whole thing where it's like Dooku just, gets cut down, and Grievous gets cut down. Shouldn't that have been like the end of the Clone Wars? I guess that was technically the end of the Clone Wars. But it seems like 5 seconds later, Anakin... I guess that's it. He cuts down the banking clan. He cuts down the Techno Union. He kills them all because they were all there. They lose that war. And he kills them all. I mean, I guess there was no separatist command center left? Command structure? I don't know. And then it's like, oh, all of a sudden, Order 66. Like, it was like that fast. I don't know. So I'd like Clone Wars to keep going, because Order 66 isn't the end that Lucas had made it out to seem like. I think that's what I'm trying to say. some bad things happen in Order 66, and the Emperor takes over, but it's by no means the end. I mean, tons of Jedi survive. Tons. Yeah, the troopers kill a couple. Anakin kills a couple. But you'll see in Rebels has got nothing to do with Vader. At least not yet, or not even remotely anything that they've implied. There's an Inquisitor and like a security chief, sort of. Kind of like a high level, like almost like a corporate security chief, and an Inquisitor. And it's so Disney that I can't possibly see how they're going to address a lot of these issues. And I think the good news is, like, for now, if you want, you can still go check out a couple more Clone Wars things. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So if you haven't seen Season 6, which is about a half season, go check it out. If you haven't seen Season 5, definitely check that out. It seems like most people have seen through Season 4. But when Season 5 came out, it started to get hard to watch because I guess it wasn't on TV, and I don't know how much it was syndicated and stuff for Season 5. And then Season 6 is Netflix only. I say that in air quotes and wink wink. Netflix only. And then those 4 Utapau episodes are only online, so it takes a little hunting, and if you want to get the comics, a little money, and when this novel comes out, a little money. But definitely, if you're resisting Rebels like I am, and it's just, Rebels is just terrible. Terrible. It's so bad. Check out this Clone Wars stuff. And I'm gonna stop rambling, and I wish I had played more Clone Wars Adventures. I would have never dreamed that this would have happened. And all I can say is I'm so glad that I took last winter, my little winter break, and did my yearly Clone Wars adventures like I did every winter break. I'm so glad that I did it, because my heart would have been broken if I hadn't done that. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And, yeah. I honestly don't know how much more Star Wars I can take. TOR is rehashing the Revan thing. And, I keep setting little milestones, and there's just not enough content in TOR. We've been making up our own content for so long. December 2nd's early access. We're gonna burn through it. I can tell you, we're gonna have him burn through the content in just a couple days, and that's playing it slow. So you guys just take it easy and stick with me, and I want to show you my Star Wars Commander game soon. I gotta get it linked up with my Facebook. But even that, they've already stopped making content for that. I don't know when there's going to be another batch of content. That game hasn't even been out a month. And I heard they shut off downloads for Tiny Death Star and Assault Team, which hasn't even been out for a year. Tiny Death Star hasn't even been out for a year, and Assault Squad, I think maybe it's been out maybe 6, 7, 8 months, if that. Commander's only been out for a month, and there's like no new stories for it. It literally stops right in the middle of the story. And that Assault Squadron game, I guess it's probably safe enough to talk about it now. It was terrible. Terrible. Shit. Galactic Starfighter made it look amazing. And, I think Disney's counting on Episode 7 to kind of bring it all back, but I could honestly care less about the Star Wars movies. To me, it was all the extended universe, and that's what they killed. So, I don't know. If they don't do something big, if 3.0 doesn't bring something big, not besides 2 new planets and OMG Revan, and there's no new PvP, no new Galactic Starfighter, just a couple new flashpoints and stuff. That'll be it. And so, but there's a lot of you that only watch my channel for Star Wars crap. So I hope you'll check out my other channel, swtorPaladin. That's where I play all my other games. So, anyway, I'm just rambling. I love rambling to you guys. But thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.